Hi everyone, and welcome back to Nasedyanka, the channel where I talk about Bulgarian history, culture, tradition and faith. My husband has decided that I am pronouncing the word Sedyanka with an Eastern Bulgarian accent, so I particularly want to emphasize it is said called Sedyanka, not Sedyanka. But we do have our dialects. So I came today on top to the top of a mountain. We took a hike and it's just gorgeous. It's an autumn, beautiful day, and we have been driving along a gorgeous trail and then walking furthermore on another trail, which I filmed. So I decided to share with you all because it's just beautiful, and I hope that it can bring some smiles and inspiration. It can definitely show my friends and family in Bulgaria some of the sights that they cannot see as well. Along with that, I have prepared basically to present to you all some information continuing with some of the saints, the Bulgarian saints for the month of October. But also along with that, I want to include in this video, or at least in the parts going to this episode, I would like to include some reflections since some people, both online and closer people around me, have been asking for more information about the differences between the East and the West, faith-wise. So I jotted down some of my reflections from what I know, so I would love to share that with you. So stay tuned. If you have not subscribed, make sure to subscribe if you're interested in receiving more videos like this, and if you're not, that's okay. I respect you anyways. I hope that you enjoy the walk as I'm taking you virtually with me today on this hike, and and I hope that you enjoy the content too. I hope at least that it brings some inspiration. Thank you. Hi guys, so the long trip is over and I'm quite exhausted. It was beautiful, it was wonderful, and I'm ready to go to sleep. It is midnight now. I have come back. I spent the whole day out in the mountains, and it was definitely needed, but now I definitely need my sleep. But before I do so, I wanted to start with the parts just like I promised. So for this part, which I am going to name part 1 of this episode, I will talk to you about a priest and martyr, or as we might say in English, holy venerable, Steffan of Sevlievo. He was a Bulgarian priest, and he was martyred for the Orthodox faith. He was killed on October 5th. The year was 1944. That's the year when communism took over in Bulgaria. So I calculate 14 days later, because I follow the old calendar, that took me to, 14 plus 5, that would be October 19th. Well, that should have been on October 19th that we commemorate him. So he is called in the Bulgarian language, the word is Svešteno ikonom. So in English, that would be like a priest steward or like clergy. But basically, Father Steffan, he was known in the world as Sabi Krivoshev, is how it says in my little book. He was born in the village of, he was born in the village of Stolot, Sevlievsko region in Bulgaria. He was tonsured as a priest, or he basically accepted priesthood in the Orthodox Christian faith. Of course, that's what Bulgaria is. Predominantly. So he became a priest in the year of 1924, and he served in the church, or that's called the Temple of the Holy Trinity, in the village of Sevlievo, again, Bulgaria. During the difficult years of war, he created a charity, I don't know how to call it, like camp, basically. In Bulgarian language, that's called Благотворителен лагер. It's like a charity camp, a charity field. For the poor children, basically, at the monastery of Batushev, or like we call it in Bulgarian language, Batushevsky Monastir. He stood diligently by church discipline. How can I say that? He basically supported, or he followed church discipline, the order, with great respect, with deep respect and venerance. And with Christian piety, like we say, благочестие. And I say the Bulgarian words because they take the spirit way deeper when I think about them, not just because I'm a foreigner, but because of the way in which they're composed. For example, the word благочестие is composed of two words, blago and chest. Chest is honor, blago is like merciness, like grace. So it's, when we say piety in English, I honestly don't know what it means unless I open a dictionary and it tells me, that it describes the behavior, a certain type of a good Christian behavior. But when I hear the Bulgarian word grace and honor, I'm also thinking about how I am expected to, what I'm striving towards. So that's how far I'll leave that for now. Coming back to Father Steffan of Sevlievo, during the Pascha days, like we call them the holy days in Bulgaria, of course, he loved telling hardworking people, especially the women, that it is better for them to, because I should say here, for those in the West who may not be familiar with this, we do have it in our culture. In Bulgaria, women will cook and create everything from scratch. Now, during communism, women also worked. It was like 50%, 50-50. 50% of the women were in the workforce as well as 50% of the men. But the thing is that these people are hard workers, is the point. So the priest used to tell them that it is better for them to enter the temple with one crumb of faith rather than with large Pascha breads. We call them kuzunaci. These are sweet breads that we make for Pascha. So after September the 9th, 1944, this is the day when the Communist Party took over in Bulgaria, Father Steffan was put on the list of the top 6 most prominent citizens of the village of Sevlievo. In other words, he was among the top 6 of that the communists wanted to murder, to kill. So this is the tactic of the communists. You can, you can deduce your own ideas from this and learn from this. I'm giving you the facts here. Every now and then I share what I think about this, but coming back to my book, you guys can see, just the corruption of that. So on October the 5th, 1944, all of those who had been arrested, those top 6 people, by the communists again, were basically charged, or how can I say, they were thrown on a truck and taken out to the end of a forest. The communists imposed on them to dig their own graves by themselves, after which they shot them all to death. And this is again, this was a typical procedure by the Communist Party's Christ-hating leaders. They were atheists. That's how they defined themselves. This is not a judgment statement. That was their own self-definition and identification. A person identified as the P, so they didn't, how can I say, they didn't disclose their full name, but basically this person was from the village Rahovci, basically discovered the grave of this holy martyr unexpectedly. As a child, this person was out in the pasture where his buffaloes, like we say bivuli, were grazing, and so the region is called Biyuk Mete. The book which I'm using here is informing us of this. His dog dug up a skull. The shepherd children rolled it with their own staffs, kind of playfully. Inside the hole that the dog had dug up, they found very long hair, and it was basically identified as to be the hair of Father Steffan himself. People who knew Father Steffan described him as a very, let's see how to translate this word in English. Krotok is like meek, humble, dove-like, quiet, but meek and humble would be more, I guess, like closest to Krotok, human being. So that's how people experienced him. That's their personal experience. That's what they said about him. He alone used to touchingly, kind of like of the heart, heartfully implore Christian parents to teach their own children to love the meek and the quiet and the humble Jesus. So he taught them the spirit of the meek. Jesus, again, because Christ is our example of meekness ultimately. People say that Father Steffan inherited the land of the righteous, and they're quoting in my book that I'm using here, Matthew 5, the line is 5 in the Bible. So this is so far about Father Steffan of Sevlievo. It just touches my heart. We commemorated him on, like I said, the new calendar commemorated him on October the 5th. Old calendar, which is the correct church calendar, commemorates him on October the 19th. So I hope that this brings some, knowledge, illumination, at least that you guys may also pray to him. He is a canonized saint. Just know, if you are Orthodox Christian, you're watching my channel, at least know that this is just one more of our sibling in Christ, brothers and sisters in Christ, that expands our family of Orthodoxy. Other than that, I will continue in another part. I'm going to call my parts 1, 2, 3, and so forth until I reach the end. But I haven't decided how many parts at this point as part of this episode. But next, we're going to talk about the commemorated saints for October 6th. Or October 20th, according to the old calendar, and one of those is the Holy Martyr Alexander from Gorna Dikania and his son Steffan. And I have prepared a whole bunch of other saints around the same date. Now, at some point, I'm also going to share with you, like I mentioned at the entry, while I was also out there in the woods today, that I have prepared some information to talk to you guys about the differences between the East and the West from an Orthodox Christian perspective. Why do I talk about Orthodox Christianity? Because I am Bulgarian. This channel is devoted to Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is an Orthodox Christian country. Orthodox Christianity has sustained the Bulgarian spirit and nationality and identity over centuries. As a matter of fact, over thousands of years. And I say that why? Because 2,000 years ago is when we know Christ walked on earth. Well, the Apostle Andrew himself is said to have walked on Bulgarian lands, more so in Varna, which is my native city. So I feel very special, I don't know what to say, connection, prompting, calling, meaning here to share this as much as I know. And most of all, because information about Bulgaria, unfortunately, is not spread throughout the Western English-speaking world, and I think it is important. I'm not making anything from YouTube. This is something I do from my heart. This is my hobby, and if you guys find it meaningful and informative and enriching, so be it. If it's triggering, well, don't charge yourselves, with watching that kind of information. The way I look at it is that, even years after I am gone from this earth, this information can still stay there, for people who are interested, even if it's one person and it helps that person, that's good enough. So I hope that this finds you well. I am tired. It just past midnight. I am going to sleep. I hope that you all have a good, whatever your time zone is, day, middle of the day, night, great week ahead. And I will look forward to presenting to you the next part of these series that I've prepared. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Tired as I am, I should have made a disclosure to let you know that I am not wearing a traditional dress today, so do not mistake this for a Bulgarian traditional dress, but I am following the Bulgarian tradition. I have taken the pattern free-handedly. I drew it from a traditional Bulgarian dress, and I was just being playful because it is this season, it is beautiful fall outside, and I liked being creative and playful, so that's what I did. There you go. Have a great week.